Hello again, Eurosatory. I am here with Lorenzo Mariani, who is co-general manager of Leonardo, and he is also chairman of the board of MBDA Italy. Lorenzo, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Oh, great. I'm glad to hear it. It's a great exhibition, very busy. Are you enjoying it so far?
So far, so good. Very busy, very busy.
That's good to hear. Well, I think let's jump straight into it because I know you've got some really interesting things to say today. The European defence environment has changed dramatically since the last iteration of Eurosatory in 2022. What challenges does Leonardo as a company see for Europe and the defence industrial base?
Definitely, the environment has changed dramatically in the last 2 years. A lot of conflicts, not all of them well known. However, the lessons learned are several. For sure, the use of conventional means such as artillery, infantry, coupled with asymmetric threats and very high technology threats. I'm thinking about hypersonic. This has claimed for a very quick change in requirements for our systems and a very deep evolution of our systems, mostly across two lines, I would say. One is the multi-domain response. We believe really that more and more our systems must be capable of operating not only in a single domain, such as land, sea, air, or even space, but all of them together. The second one is a very dramatic digitization with a growing impact from cyber, and of course with digitization, with connectivity, also a lot of big data and artificial intelligence application. This is the kind of evolution that we have perceived from the market, from the requirements of our customers, and the kind of evolution that internally we are providing to our systems to respond to this.
I think it is definitely fascinating, isn't it, to have watched these elements of warfare that we've all talked about for so long, all of a sudden become so real, and to begin fully understanding what threat they pose and how they impact our forces. It's a challenging scenario to be in. Connected to that, what is Leonardo's role in this new defense environment that we've discussed, and what are the examples that you have here at Eurosatory of showing this new approach of the multi-domain integration and pushing digitalization really to the fore?
I think this is a very good question. We are showing here at Eurosatory our new escort helicopter, the AW249. That is an helicopter that was born for multi-domain operational, so with an open architecture, all digitalized equipment, and this is really a good example on how we should respond in the future to multi-domain operational requirements. In addition, of course, this will have an impact on all the equipment that we produce, and normally we put on board, for example, on future generation tanks, tracked and wheeled vehicles. All of that should be digitalized, all of that should be capable of integrating and of being added with new features in a very quick and reactive way while the threats are changing, because as they changed very quickly in the last few months, they could change again in the future, and we have to be ready for that.
And I understand it. Is there a way that Leonardo is sort of conceptualizing its approach to this in its own industrial strategy?
Of course, we are setting up all our industrial plan along a few lines. So one of those is the multi-domain approach. So we are creating a specific working group internally in order to develop the involved technologies, to develop the competencies in our staff, and to work together with customers in order to understand what is the impact of those requirements on existing platforms and on future ones. At the same time, time, we are performing a very strong effort on digitalizing all of our equipment, our company, not only the products, but also all the production means, the engineering features of our company. And this will bring the need, is already bringing the need for coverage of cyber protection. We have a division, a specific division of cyber, who provides both services outside and secure by design feature to our internal elements, products and systems. And I think those two lines, coupled with the effort we are paying on space, creating a specific space division, will pay absolutely a good price in the future, as space will be central to all connectivity and multi-domain operations.
I think there's a couple of recurring themes that have come up today. One of them is how we invest in our people and make sure that they can deliver the capabilities that we need. And the other is the digitalization and the cyber concerns that come with that. So it's really great to hear you raising that as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Those are two key elements.
So another element, particularly for me as a land warfare analyst, and my focus is ammunition and supply chains for ammunition and that kind of thing. And this is something I understand that you're quite familiar with, and the intricacies of ammunition production. So what do you think are the main hurdles that we currently face in scaling Europe's ammunition production to meet not only our demands, but the demands of our partners and the demands for kind of future peace?
This is a very important topic here, right? And I'm very involved in that, both through MBDA, that I always define the best JV in defense in Europe, probably also one of the few ones, and with the traditional Otto Melara brand that we embed in our Leonardo electronic division that produces ammunition rounds of different calibers. One of the lesson learned that we got from the recent conflicts is the important use of those ammunition and missiles, and probably also a not sufficient stockpile of that. The reaction, of course, has been to set up proper lines, and I would say that difficulties are currently being tackled, but can be envisaged in 2 or 3 areas. One is for sure the supply chain. The supply chain is often constituted by small, medium enterprises that do not have enough capability to resist to long periods of low production. And so when it is about ramping up, they need investment, they need planning, because sometimes even with an upfront investment, you need nevertheless to show that there is a planning along the years to come. Otherwise, we might be in difficulty again in 3-4 years from now. Another point is for sure duplicating lines of production, but this is something that I think that is really the job of companies like Leonardo. So we are doing ourselves and with our partners, namely in MBDA. There is also a topic of upgrading our staff in terms of numbers, but this is something we have been starting already since a few years ago, and so I think of course STEM availability is low in Europe. Nevertheless, this is affecting more developments of new technologies than real establishment of new production capabilities. The digitalization is another cross element of that, but I think this is now pervading the full spectrum of companies, and any new production line is fully digitalized. And again, the real key element is to transfer these in a seamless way to the supply chain.
So if I've understood you correctly, there's the need for not only orders now, but sustained orders to keep those SMEs and the supply chain going and healthy.
Very good summary.
Yeah, there's the need for establishing additional facilities and resourcing them, there's the need to understand the personnel landscape and make sure that you can get the right people into those positions, but it's not as acute as kind of the new technology AI kind of sphere. And then there's the digitalization as well.
I will add one last point for all what is the future capabilities. A key element will be the capability to cooperate inside Europe. Of course, this is from developing the new technologies together, so to accelerate time scales, availability, and to reduce the burden of funding for each one, and at the same time also to share some production capabilities so that everyone can specialize maybe or complement the need whenever this is requested to do.
Well, Lorenzo, thank you so much for your time. I think there's been a really valuable intervention. I'm so pleased to hear you saying many of the things that I think I might have thought as well. So we're on the same page.
It was my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you very much for watching and listening, everybody. There's some really valuable points there around the future of defense in Europe and how we scale and produce things over the next year. There's one more interview to come, so stick around and I will see you tomorrow.